average Bean has spent 3 days building the analysis. At the Monday meeting, Peacock presents the conclusion. That felt like credit taking. But before we decide Peacock is a villain, we need to inspect the crime scene. Because credit can be stolen deliberately. It can also drift away one missing label at a time. When somebody else receives the recognition for work you helped create, the damage is not only emotional. The wrong story can travel into a performance review, a promotion conversation, or the next project assignment. But reacting to one meeting with a public accusation can make the situation worse. The useful question is not, how do I prove they are guilty? It is, what facts are missing? What pattern am I seeing? And what is the smallest action that puts the record back in focus? Most projects do not arrive in the room as a neat pile of credits. One person spots the problem. Another gathers the data. Someone else turns that data into a recommendation. A manager removes a blocker. Then the person who is most comfortable speaking gives the final update. By the time the project is presented, the audience sees one clean result. They do not see the late-night spreadsheet, the 3 false starts, or the sentence that changed the decision. That is the first trap. Visible delivery can become the whole story of invisible preparation. This does not excuse a person who knowingly erases other people's work, but it explains why credit errors often look innocent from the outside. The final speaker may honestly think, I drove this, while another teammate remembers, you drove the last 10 minutes. Research on self-serving attribution gives us a useful warning here. People can interpret a success in ways that make their own role look more central. That is a human bias to manage, not a magic test for spotting bad people. So Crow's first rule is simple. Do not start by guessing motive. Start by rebuilding the contribution trail. Imagine Bean and Peacock are preparing a client proposal. Bean creates the analysis. Peacock turns it into slides and presents them. Fox manager only sees the slides and says, "Great work, Peacock." Was Peacock taking credit? Maybe. Or maybe Fox was never told who did the analysis. Or maybe the team used one vague word, "we," until nobody could see the parts inside it. The prevented move is boring, which is why it works. Name the contribution while the work is happening. Not, we are handling the proposal. Try, Bean owns the cost analysis. Peacock owns the client narrative. I will review the final recommendation. That is not bragging, it is project information. In publishing, a contributor role system separates contributions such as conceptualization, analysis, project administration, validation, and writing. Your office does not need a research taxonomy, but it can borrow the principle, make the type of contribution visible, not just the final product. Crow draws a simple project map: idea, analysis, decision, delivery. Under each step, a name. Suddenly, the trophy has more than one set of fingerprints. Meetings reward what is easy to remember. A confident, tidy update can replace a complicated chain of work in everybody's memory. That creates what Crow calls the credit drift problem. No single dramatic theft is required. A name is left out of one recap. Then the next update repeats the shorter version. Then the manager hears it that way twice. By review season, the compressed story feels like fact. The answer is not to narrate every task you do. It is to leave a small factual trail at useful moments. After a milestone, write a short shared recap. Decision, use option B. Bean completed the cost model. Peacock prepared the client presentation. Next step, Fox will approve the timeline. Notice what this does not say. It does not say, please admire Bean. It says what happened, who did what, and what comes next. If the project is a group effort, this kind of record protects everybody. It also makes it easier for a manager to recognize work accurately without becoming an investigator. Now suppose the meeting has already happened. Peacock receives praise for the analysis that Bean actually built. Bean has 3 choices. The worst one is often silence followed by a private resentment spreadsheet. The second worst is a public prosecution with no warning. The useful middle option is a short correction at the level of the mistake. Bean might say, To add context, I built the cost analysis, and Peacock turned it into the client recommendation. We worked on different parts of the same project. That sentence does three things. It adds a fact. It gives the teammate credit for a real contribution. And it does not pretend to know intent. If the right audience is not in the meeting, use a written recap afterward. The same rule applies. Facts first, labels last. Why does the tone matter? Speaking up is easier when people believe they can raise a work issue without being humiliated or punished. Research on psychological safety concerns that team condition. It does not guarantee a nice response. It does explain why a specific, low-blame correction is usually a smarter first move than a public character judgment. One misname can be a messy project. A repeated pattern is different. Pay attention if the same person repeatedly presents your work as their own, removes your name from shared documents, blocks you from the relevant audience, or changes the story after you have corrected it. At that point, move from memory to records. Keep dates, project names, messages, versions, decisions, and the exact result. Keep the evidence factual. Do not collect gossip. Do not secretly record people. Do not build a case out of assumptions. Then ask for a private conversation focused on the next project. I want us to be clear about attribution. On the last two projects, I built the analysis, but the update did not name that work. For future updates, can we agree to name the owner of the analysis and the owner of the presentation? If the pattern affects appraisal, pay, promotion, protected rights, or a formal complaint, use your organization's documented route. Bring the facts, not a personality diagnosis. Employment rules differ by employer and jurisdiction, so this is general workplace education, not legal advice. There is an uncomfortable exception. Sometimes a person really is taking credit deliberately. They may wait until the work is finished, present it as theirs, and become defensive when the facts are added back in. The response model still holds. Clear ownership, a factual trail, a proportionate correction, then a formal route if the evidence and stakes justify it. What does not help is trying to win a mind-reading contest. You do not need to prove somebody woke up planning a villain speech. You need to make the actual work visible enough that the decision-maker can see it. Crow puts the project trophy on a conveyor belt. Every time a contribution label falls off, the trophy rolls toward the loudest person in the room. Bean does not chase the trophy. Bean restores the labels. Here is the model to remember. Name it, note it, correct it, pattern check it. Name the contribution before the meeting. Note the facts while the project moves. Correct one missing fact without claiming to know a motive. Then check whether the same thing keeps happening. Good teams make credit easy to trace. In weaker systems, a calm record is not self-promotion. It is basic maintenance. And if you have ever been called quiet when you were actually thinking, the next Office Crow case is for you. Why quiet employees get misread.